Okay, let's start a new drawing. So first step, as always, lay our paper down and tape it down straight. My T-square wasn't on the edge of my board. Whoops. And then let's lay out our title block and our border. So I'll measure in 1/4 of an inch on each side. Whoops. And 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch for the title block. Whoops, my nail got in the way. So typically your border is a pretty thick line on the page. It should be the thickest technically on the page. But for the sake of speeding up these videos, I'm leaving it light. And I'll make a mark at 4, 7, 9, 10.5. Okay. And now I also do have this block made. So now we're going to start laying out just what our front, our top, and our side view are going to look like. So from the front, and I'll use kind of, one moment, I'm going to sharpen my pencil. I'll use kind of that more traditional guideline technique for this one, just to kind of bring it back. If that's what helps you guys more, then please do things that way. But I'm just going to start to lay out where my front view is going to start. So I'll just pick a spot off the edge of the border and title block and just do a guideline across and a guideline up. Now I just want to know what my overall length is and my overall height. So I have an overall height of 2 and an overall length of 6. You're going to see that as a common theme in these orthographics. And I'll just do a line across and a guideline up. Now, in this scenario, looking at the front of my object, that's all I see from the front is just that it has that overall height of 2, that overall length of 6. I can't really see any other features in the front. So for now, I'll leave it alone, but we're going to come back to it in a moment. And from that initial kind of lesson regarding orthographics, some of you might have already know why we're coming back to it. So I'm going to then start with the top of my object, and I'll just kind of put some space in between. So then that is the same as this corner of my object, and I just want to note what is its overall depth. So how far back does it go from very front to very back, which it has an overall depth of 3. Make a little mark, guideline across, and what I need to do to kind of finish off the top view is to show that there's a difference between this face, and this one, to kind of show that there are those different levels here. Now we can't see height in the top view, so I don't know how far down this is, but I just know that there's a difference between here, here, and here. So I'm just going to make some little marks at 1 and 2. And whoops, I didn't bring that guide all the way across. And so now I have my top view completed. Now I'll do my miter line for my side view. So again, I'm going to do that from where the topmost and rightmost lines meet for the front, which is right here. And I'm just going to bring that all the way across and project these straight down. So anywhere it hits, project it down, project down, project down. And one last time, project down. And see, this is why sometimes I'll erase as I go, because this is a little overwhelming for a lot of students to look at. But now I've got my side view started, which let me look at it from that side. Not that it's going to be any different in this case. And so I have a side view that shows that there's this here, there's something going on here, and then there's this side here. But it doesn't show how far down that goes. So I need to make a measurement down 1, make a little notation, or a little mark, and put that in. Now, and let me get a different eraser because that one is kind of reached the end of its life, unfortunately. I go through erasers a lot. I can erase this guide work here, and I can think I'm done, but I'm not quite. There's still something missing. Aside from the title block, there's still something missing. And so yeah, that's why I like to use that kind of guide technique where I just line up my tools with where the guides would be, but then really only lay the lines near where they're meant to be, just because this is a lot of a work to erase, and especially for someone starting out, it can be kind of a lot to take in to try to see what needs to be erased and what doesn't. So I've got my top view and I've got my side view here. However, what I need to show is how if I'm looking from the front, I can't see that little ledge that's back there. That doesn't mean that ledge doesn't exist back there. I can put my pencil back there and there's something happening, but I just can't see it when I'm looking at the front. So we wouldn't just leave it as is. We would still want to note that there is that ledge there, and we'll do that using a hidden line. So hidden lines show edges that can't be seen from one particular view. So I'm just going to line my T-square up, draw a line across there, and then I'm going to use my eraser shield to just kind of line up on top of that line, and with this little dotted one, and then just go in with the eraser while I'm kind of holding it down, and it'll make it into those nice even dashes for me. Since it's not long enough to do the whole sheet, what I'll do is just kind of line up the very last space that it left with the first hole. I know it's really hard to see on the video, but I just kind of line up the very last space it left with that hole on there. Now when you get to the edge or the end, it's important that your hidden line is touching on both sides. So I made sure that I left with the hidden line touching on this edge, and I also finished it off with the hidden line over here touching on this edge. So the eraser shield makes it really easy to just do those even short dashes without having to measure anything out. I can just kind of apply all of them. This one is, unless I'm remembering it incorrectly, which that's entirely possible, but this one is the grooved block. And again, I'm making sure I'm lettering, capitals, neat, uniform, then my own name, the date that you drew this on, the scale, which is how many inches on paper is equivalent to how many inches in real life. So we did this one at full scale, so it's 1 inch on paper, 1 inch in reality, and then how many are in this set. So this is drawing 1 of 1, and that is the grooved block.